Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Happy New Year. Welcome to Dumb SEO Questions, episode 171. Each week we meet here to talk about or answer the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google+. With us tonight, Andy Wigglesworth, the world's most lovable web architect. Andy lives in the frozen wastelands of the north of England. Masataki Wasa lives in London, but we won't hold that against him. He's CEO of wasaweb.net and that's wasaweb.net, and he's also a Google top contributor on the AdSense and also the Google Plus help community. A regular speaker on the speaking circuit is Micah Fisher-Kirshner. Micah is also Senior SEO Manager for Zendesk.com in the USA. All right, let me click the tweet button here. Oh, it's amazing when things work. And move on to our first question. This one is how to create a knowledge graph for my website. Faheen Netson said, hello all, I've recently joined this group. I have a question regarding knowledge graph. Could anyone help me out with how to create a knowledge graph for my website?
Well, there's different kinds of knowledge graphs for the most part, depending on your business, in terms of what gets shown there. But generally, there's essentially there's schema.org, JSON-LD with schema, or kind of just the item props that you can use. I'll have to check. Did anybody actually answer this in the comments? I forget. No. All right. So I'll need to put in kind of a few links so you can kind of take a look at them, and that will help with how to create the knowledge graph. Now, bear in mind the likelihood of getting it will vary depending on how authoritative your site is. And how well known the site is. And so it depends on what kind of knowledge graph you're looking to create. So for example, if you're just looking to have your business information, there's a good likelihood you're gonna get it for your website. But if you're looking for quite a bit more, once again, it will vary depending on, personally, from what I've seen, on how well known your business is. But I'll add into the comments. Essentially, Google has some information for some of the basic stuff. Originally, you could get some stuff added in through Wikipedia and Freebase, but that's a little bit longer discussion in the history on that. I'm going to presume you're looking just for kind of information about the website, so I'll add that into the comments.
Thank you very much, Mike. All right, I think that pretty well covered it, but if anyone would like to jump in and add to it, please feel free.
Yeah, just a quick note. I think if you're a local business, if you have some sort of physical presence, then it's far easier to appear in the knowledge graph results than a pure brand, non-local business. I think that's been the case for a while, and I think that remains the case.
Yeah. Thank you, Masataki. All right, let's move on to the next, and this is from Lucas Regala. Lucas is an ex-Roomba pilot from, I'm fairly sure it's Poland. Anyway, Lucas said, hi guys, I've got a question related to indexing URLs. We all know that Google can index URLs even if the link isn't clickable or active, in other words, just text. But my question is, does Google index URLs if they are commented in code? I didn't notice that, but would like to have confirmation from experts like you. Has anybody tested this? I mean, right away you've got to love Lucas Regala. He obviously knows an expert when he sees one. There was an interesting conversation in the chat or in the comments on the SEO Questions community.
Yeah, I jumped in and onto this one, and I'm not. I mean, I personally haven't tested it. I'm not aware of anybody publicly putting any information out about indexing the the URLs in commented code. There's and then, so I personally I don't think they would. It's you know, it's meant to be kind of as commentary, and so it's going to be kind of a little out there in creating potential issues if they do. Now that doesn't necessarily mean they won't. They've been known in the past to fill in form or search data to test some stuff to see kind of how your site interacts and works, and then you know there's been talks about them even sometimes just crawling or sometimes checking no follow links just to see what's out there. So it's not to say that they won't. It's just whether or not it's a consistent thing or just kind of doing a test here or there. So that's kind of one of the qualifications I put on that.
Yeah. I don't think that I think they'd ignore them personally. I think I agree with Federico as well. That probably it'd be easy to use hidden things like that, spammy links. So I can't imagine Google indexing.
No, me neither. All right, let's move on to the next. Lucas, thank you for your interest. Sanjay Upadhyay has a problem in that none of his business pages are being seen in search engine results pages. He said, I have 2 pages in my Google Plus account. One is a brand page and the second is a location page. I have verified both with my website, and the local page is verified by the PIN number I received from Google. But none of my business pages can be seen on a search engine results page. Any suggestions? I see Chase Rayner has just joined us. Hey Chase, there you go.
Hey.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I guess my answer for Sanjay is that business pages, well, I don't really have an answer, to be honest, because I've got a feeling this has changed. This is really an answer for Jim Capper to answer. He's on top of this on a daily basis. Has anybody got something to add here on this one?
Yeah, it's very much Tim's thing. I would be.
Is that something to worry about, that there's 2 of them, that there might be conflicts?
I don't think so, because one's a brand page and one's a local page, and depending on how you submit the query, I suppose, the local page should appear, I think, more readily than the brand.
I think what he's saying is that none of the pages, local pages, are showing up for the keywords he's typing in.
Yeah.
So in that case, it's not a problem with his actual location. It's a problem with whether he's mentioning his keywords or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if it's a local page, what I would probably do is type in the keyword on maps and locations, and then see if it turns up or not. Because if it doesn't, then that could be a pointer for an issue. That's if you, I don't know what, if he sells pink fluffy elephants, and if that's a category, and if he types in pink fluffy elephant merchant in the local search or map search, and if his business doesn't appear on Google Maps, then I think then I would start to worry. But it depends how he's searching for those two entities. Brand pages don't necessarily rank that well. The fact that that he has linked the brand page to the website through the website verification, that really doesn't carry much weight as far as I know about it. So I would really look into the local page, and if I would firstly concentrate on the local side of things, and if that page is set up, if it is actually being returned for the business when you searched locally and on maps.
Yeah, another thing he can do too is go to moz.com/local and type in his business with his zip code, and if it doesn't show up in there either, then there's a problem. But I really think that it's probably just a keyword issue.
Okay, Sanjay, if this is not the answer for your question, please ask it again next week on the SEO Questions community. Check out the keyword issue and come back to us if that doesn't solve it for you. All right, our next is a question from our good friend Stephen Sicantelli from Abracti Taxi in Florida. It's titled Trick to Rank High on Google for Specific Keywords. We don't deal in tricks here, Stephen. We just basically help you to line up all of your ducks in a row. He said also, what tricks are some websites using to just rank very high on Google for specific keywords, but are nowhere to be found on Bing or Yahoo? I notice they have many more pages indexed in Google and Bing than I do, but many are just rip-offs from TripAdvisor. Is this legal, or is it a bit of black hat? Maybe when I fix the website with social media sites, will I catch up? Thank you as always.
Yeah, I noted with this one, this was kind of a unique way to ask that question, because most of the time it's how to rank on Bing, because I've already, doing decently on Google, and not how do I rank on Google but not on Bing. Like, you want to rank on both. You want to do well on both. So, I mean, the easiest thing is just block your website specifically to Bing and Yahoo bots, and just do SEO for Google, and you'll rank on that and make sure you're not anywhere to be found. So that's perfectly white hat. Nothing wrong with if you don't want Bing or Yahoo to find your site. If you're in a market where you don't need to worry about Bing or Yahoo, then that's great. You can just save bandwidth and space from those bots going through your sites. I've known, and I've done it in the past, where I've specifically blocked out Baidu or Yandex because they were ridiculously crawling the sites, and our servers weren't necessarily ready to handle them, given kind of some of the things they were doing. So that's probably one of the ways and I wouldn't really call that much of a trick. It's just you're using your robots.txt file in a regular way. beyond that, after that, then yeah, you know, I'm not sure kind of what else you're going to be looking for, because usually you want to try to rank on everything.
Okay, Stephen, I'm sorry to shortchange you and move on your question, but the party's still going on next door, and I've got to get back to it, mate. All right, let's tweet that. Oh, I've already done that, and let's move on to the next. Another question from Stephen Sicantelli. Issues to be aware of when rebuilding an old site. He said, I'm having my website redone to spruce it up a bit. I'll be using the same domain. Are there any issues that I need to be aware of? The site is usually first or second. Will Google penalize me, or will my site remain relatively unscathed? Are there any tools I should use to make sure the new WordPress site is up to scratch or snuff? Thank you as usual.
I mean, there might not be a penalization unless there's some crazy things happening, like, I don't know, multiple H1s or whatever it would be included in a penalization. But I think that if your site becomes less relevant than it used to be to Google, there's a strong possibility that, yes, you will see your rankings decrease.
Yeah, it depends on what you mean by redone and spruced up and how severe of a change you've made. If you've done a large drastic change, Google might come back and reevaluate the whole site. But if you're talking like minor stuff here or there that generally should be a more benefit to the users, it probably won't be harmful, but it really does depend on how massive of a spruce up redone of a website you've done. Have you changed your whole internal linking structure? Or have you moved things around internally within the website? You might have kept the website the same, but you might have moved things around, and that's going to potentially affect stuff that way. So it all depends kind of on what you've done really to be able to say for sure.
And like another thing would be is it moving to a mobile version of the website too? Is it going to be responsive? Was it responsive before? Mika's right. There's going to be so many different things that play into it. But like he was saying, generally if it's basically the same website with the same page and the same pages, but it's just going to be a different theme and hopefully not too much extra code added to it, then I would say that if anything, it might be even helpful to your website because you might have benefits like maybe even having a faster website or maybe a mobile optimized website and so on.
Cool. All right, let's move on. Stephen, I hope that's what you need here today. Let's move on to the next. This one is from Malakajuna S. My business name is not showing on a Google search engine's results page. Malakajuna S said, hi friends, can you give an answer for this query? One of my projects is not showing any results on Google. Even when I search with my business name, it will not show up on a Google search engine results page. Let's take, for example, my business name is XYZ with the same keyword, business name, XYZ. I'm searching in Google, but it will not show my website. I've submitted a sitemap to Google and also to the Bing search engine. Can you suggest to me what I can do for this one? Thank you.
Well, I mean, it might be that his keywords are already so saturated that he's not showing up. One of the ways he can tell whether he's even getting indexed in the first place is if he types in site : quotation marks, and then the address URL of his site, and then close quotation marks, and then you'll be able to see if his site's getting indexed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's kind of how new is the business. So if he recently bought the domain, is there a history of that domain that might have been black hat? Is it a very generic name? So going back to what Chase is kind of noted there, but if you have a very generic name, let's take American Airlines. If you haven't really built up a brand, that could be a very generic phrase that makes it difficult to show up for. There may be some technical issues on the site that might be keeping it back. You might accidentally have a robots.txt file that's completely blocking the site, or you've left your index tag from the test server as no indexed and then pushed that to the live site, and now you're telling Google not to index anything. So there's a whole variety of potential issues that might come up, and unfortunately it's hard to diagnose without kind of being able to dig deeper into specific information about it.
Mika, can't he go to the Google Search Console and see if his site's crawlable through the what's it called?
Yeah, you can use Google Search Console, and they have a robots.txt tester in there, and they'll sometimes even send you messages about that. So that's definitely an area for them to check. That is assuming they have it set up, and they have it set up for all the potential subdomains.
Right on.
Anybody?
What is that?
That's the party.
You guys can't hear any music, can you?
I can hear the people screaming.
Oh yeah, well, they get excited a bit. Yeah. Let me see. All right, I'll just click that. No, I've already done that. Let's go to this one. Okay, this is our last question for the night from Janakai Raman. He said, my metadata is not showing. Janakai said, hi friends, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you too, Janakai. He said, I have one doubt. I'm using a WordPress website for my business. I'm using SEO Yoast plugin for my SEO purposes, but my metadata is not showing in source code. How does Google fetch metadata from my website? Is the SEO Yoast plugin good for WordPress websites? Yes. Please give me a good suggestion to improve the SEO of the site. Thanks.
They're talking about their meta description, right?
Presumably, but may not be. I think Suraj's comment probably covers it best. If it's not showing up in your code, that's an issue with your CMS. In the case of this being, I think it was WordPress, you've likely got two plugins conflicting. And that's where I think Suraj has kind of hit that one correctly in the comments. Because Google can't put that information out there if it can't see it. If it's not in your code, then it's something on your end, specifically with the CMS. So you may want to check to see what other kind of either, let's say, meta description plugins, other SEO plugins, social plugins, whatever might be occurring. And then if you've customized your code on top of that, you may have accidentally deleted some of the coded information that Yoast's plugins uses. Or you've got something out of date and the plugin's conflicting with your WordPress theme.
Or they might have some sort of SEO theme going where it's overriding their meta descriptions or something weird.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
But
go ahead.
I was just going to say, as far as how Google indexed their metadata, it's pretty much however they want. Like if you look at the search results, usually the metadata is different for each query that you type in, even if it's the same page.
Yeah. Although in this case, if he can't even see it in the code, that's definitely suggests a CMS issue over anything else. But
right.
Yeah, there's definitely conflicts that can occur. You may be filling in the wrong section. That's also possible. Particularly with the Yoast plugin, you have to scroll down a little bit in the edit post section to make sure you fill in the information specifically that has the SEO fields. If you're just doing the upper part, you're not going to get that data that you were looking to have filled in. So that may be the reason why.
Right.
I think so. The other thing, well, to sum up, check how you're filling it in Janak, and also in regards to your question, Yoast is a well-respected plugin for SEO on a WordPress website. That would be agreed by everybody, wouldn't it? Yep. All right.
Yep.
Let's go to the next. I'll just have to click this button first. No, I've already done that. All right. It's that time again. Thank you for watching. Look, the people still watching us, thank you. Your interest in what we do makes what we do worthwhile. And for that, we thank you very much. On behalf of everybody, especially Andy Wigglesworth, who has joined us tonight for New Year's Eve. Thank you all for coming, and we'll be back at the same time next week to do this again.